What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Vasily Lomachenko is in the UK preparing to face Luke Campbell unification match at lightweight. Vasily Lomachenko, the WBO and the WBA champion, facing off against the WBC champion and Luke Campbell. Leading up to the fight, Lomachenko was asked a question about whether he's rank himself on the pound-for-pound list, and he said, well, if I had to rank it, I put myself at number 1, I put Terence Crawford at number 2, and Canelo at number 3. He said, even though all of us don't want to lose, man, that's how I rank the pound-for-pound top 3. Interesting. He puts himself number 1. It's always good to have self-confidence and believe in your ability. And I can't be mad at him. What you want him to do? A lot of people be like, Lomachenko, he's only had 14 fights. He lost his second pro fight. Yeah, but he's beating a lot of people too. Give him credit. Beat Gary Russell Jr. He's defeated Jorge Linares. He's got an impressive resume. Stopped Regando. Nobody had ever stopped him before. That was basically a wash. He washed him. Dominated him every round and made him quit, So he beat what's the guy from Africa that they was trying to match up, man, a big time fighter. I can't remember his name, escapes me right now, but both guys, he was undefeated, made him quit too. So he's got an impressive resume, even though it's not a long resume, but in his 13 fights, he's fought a lot of top level opponents, man, more than the guys that had 30 or 40 fights and haven't fought anybody. So in those 13, 14 fights, it's not a high quantity, but it's a lot of quality in those 14 fights. Lost to Orlando Salido. Salido was a tough customer during that time and defeated a lot of people, man. Juan Manuel Lopez defeated him, beat him in his home country, and then backdoored and beat him in the rematch. So he was a tough customer. Gave Mikey Garcia a tough match. That fight ended up getting stopped on cuts, I think, and stuff like that. And went to the scorecards, and Mikey was here because he dropped him multiple times. But at the point of the stoppage, he was coming on strong. So tough customer that Lomachenko defeated. And so his resume is very strong, high quality resume. But in my I'm going to do a top 5 pound for pound. In my top 5 pound for pound, I have Terence Crawford, number 1, Errol Spence Jr., number 2, Vasily Lomachenko, number 3, Canelo Alvarez, number 4, and Deontay Wilder, number 5. That's my top 5 pound for pound as we stand today. So, a lot of people might dispute that, man, but you look at what Terence Crawford done, the people he's beaten, being undisputed at 140 pounds, beating Gamboa at lightweight, one of the first people that stopped Gamboa, first fighter to stop Gamboa, defeated Jeff Horn after he beat the legendary Manny Pacquiao, beat a lot of guys, Felix Diaz, when a lot of people didn't want to get in the ring with him, had a hard time finding opponents. Terence Crawford washed him, basically, and he's got an impressive resume. Number 2, Errol Spence Jr. has dominated pretty much everybody that's been in the ring with him, beating Chris Algieri, Leonard Bundu, defeated Lamont Peterson. Nobody beat Lamont Peterson like that. The way that Errol Spence beat him and stopped him. Beat Mikey Garcia. Did what I just said about Lamont Peterson. Nobody ever did Mikey Garcia, dominating him like that. Errol Spence washed him. So he's got an impressive resume. That's why he at number 2. Number 3 is Vasily Lomachenko. I already stated his resume, very impressive. The people he's beaten, he's at number 3. Number 4 is Canelo Alvarez. Has an impressive resume, but the problem with his compared to the other guys, his top quality opponents have been disputed decision. That's why I would put him at number 4. Even though he's got the win, you got to give him credit. He's got the win, but Austin Trout disputed decision. Very close fight. Austin Trout found out when they had the open scoring that he was behind, got reckless, and ended up getting dropped. And that sealed the deal for Canelo Alvarez. Even with that being said, a lot of people thought Austin Trout won that fight. He beat Edrilando Lara in a very, very close competitive fight. Some people thought Lara won that fight. He beat Miguel Cotto in a very good high-level fight. I had that fight a draw when I watched it live at the sports bar. I had it 6-6. Very, very competitive fight. Could have easily seen it being 7-5 Canelo, but a lot of those judges, a couple of those judges' scorecards were wide for Canelo, winning the fight by 2 to 3 points. Way more than what I would have had it. I think one judge even had him winning by 4 rounds, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I can't agree with those scorecards. You know, defeated Daniel Jacobs, won that fight pretty convincingly. I thought he won every fight around 8 rounds to 4. A lot of people thought that fight was close, it was a draw. I thought he actually did do enough to win that fight. But a lot of his, the 2 Triple G fights, a lot of controversy. The first fight I thought Triple G won, ended up being a draw. The second fight I had a draw, but if I had to give it to somebody, I probably would have gave it to Canelo Alvarez, as he landed the more significant punches throughout the fight, the more impactful punches throughout the fight. I got number 5, Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder. Defeated Luis Ortiz, the first man to knock out and stop Luis Ortiz. Defeated Bermane Stiverne, a guy that held the title, I think was the WBC heavyweight champion or whatever it was. He had one of those 3 major belts at the time, and when he defeated him, he was a WBC champion. And Wilder defeated him, and now he is the longest reigning heavyweight champion. Defeated Dominic Breazeale, a guy that only had 1 loss, and that was to Anthony Joshua. So he's got a strong resume, and every opponent he's fought, he's knocked out. Even the Bermane Stiverne fight, the first fight went the distance, and the second fight knocked him out and put him to sleep in the first round in a highlight reel knockout. Fought Tyson Fury, undefeated lineal heavyweight champion, as he called himself. Had defeated Vladimir Klitschko, ended his long 10-year plus reign at the heavyweight division. Beat Chisora twice, defeated Cunningham, beat some quality fighters, fought him, and it ended up being a draw. I had a draw myself too, but I thought the fight should have been stopped in the 12th round as Deontay Wilder put him to sleep. He was out on the canvas, eyes closed, eyes rolled in the back of his head. And usually when that's the case, the referee stops that fight 10 times out of 10, 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. They're going to stop that fight. And they didn't do that with the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight. Anyway, that fight went to a draw. He wanted to run it back. Tyson Fury ran in here and went to ESPN. Now he's on the bumathon, fighting a bunch of bums and waiting to cash in that Deontay Wilder lottery ticket in a rematch. But Deontay Wilder is number 5 on my list. Has dominated the heavyweight division, the longest reigning heavyweight division. And like I said again, has put together highlight reel knockouts after highlight reel knockouts. And he is the baddest man on the planet in boxing right now, the most feared man in boxing. Opponents failing tests left and right before they're supposed to schedule to fight him, knowing that they need that extra help to compete with the monstrous puncher in Deontay Wilder. That's all you need to say. That's all that need to be said. Just look at his resume and look at his opponents and look at the opponents that have, failed tests, trying to get that extra edge to get in the ring with him. That speaks for itself. So I got Deontay Wilder at number 5 on my pound for pound list. So we'll see how it plays out, man. Later on in the week, I'll be doing a breakdown and prediction on the Vasily Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell matchup at the O2 Arena in London, and we'll break that fight down later on in this week and get ready for the pound for pound fighter and Vasily Lomachenko, again defending this title, putting his skills on display, and showing people why he's one of the best boxers in boxing right now. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. Holla.